Guys, Hamad Benaicha here from undoit.ca. If you are located anywhere in Canada and if you have a MacBook that has liquid damage, that has a broken LCD, the MacBook with a GPU problem, a MacBook that doesn't turn on, a MacBook that does not charge, a MacBook with no backlight, a MacBook with a USB-C, USB, HDMI ports not working, MacBook that needs a new trackpad, a new keyboard, or a MacBook with a lock on it, whatever it is, you name it, we can undo it. I hope you will enjoy the next video repair. Thanks for watching. Well, hi guys, and comme d'habitude, un petit coucou, un petit bonjour à nos amis francophones. Today we're gonna work on a MacBook Air 13-inch model A1466. This MacBook has two issues. First one is a broken LCD, as you can see over here. Let me get rid of this. Completely broken. So we're going to replace just the LCD alone because the back cover, as you can see, there is no, looks pretty clean. And the second issue is the trackpad over here is broken, but that will be a different video for the trackpad. So today this video is about replacing the LCD for MacBook Air model A1466. And let's get started. So first thing first, what we need for this job, okay, we need a new LCD, obviously. We need safety. Safety is number one, always number one. We need a pair of glasses. We're gonna need a spatula and some gloves, okay, so you don't want to cut your fingers. And finally the screws, obviously. So the first thing is to remove the battery, because I will explain why in a few minutes. So this is the same procedure for MacBook Air from 2011 to 2017. Okay, as long as it is model A1466. Okay, you can follow this procedure. Okay, now the level of difficulty, as I mentioned, it's hard. Okay, and I will explain to you. These two parts are really hard. Actually, three parts are fairly hard. If you can do those without any issues, then you shouldn't have any problems. But we'll talk about it as we go along the video. So first thing we're going to do, it's very important, is to unplug the battery. And the reason why I will explain to you in 1 second once I get started. It's because we don't want to short the camera, okay, which is located on top of the LCD there. So there you go, off. So I'm just gonna stick it underneath like this, okay, and then I'm gonna just put two screws because we don't wanna scratch or damage the logic board. Okay, and then we get started. Okay, so let's put on the glasses, the gloves. Okay. So one of the parts that's I find a bit not hard, but it's not easy either, is to remove this over here. Okay, so it's held by a double tape. So the double tape is pretty strong. So in all these areas you can go ahead. Once you reach over here the camera, that's when you have to be gentle, because you don't want to scratch the camera and damage the camera. Okay, but all over here you can go ahead. It should be no problem. Okay, so let's get started with this. So also what you want to be, you want to try to be as careful as possible, to be gentle in this area over here, because this plastic over here, the rubber, okay, try not to cut it if you can. Okay, so here, gentle. There you go. Okay, almost done. Okay, as you can see, it's not my first time, so I'm getting better and better at it, faster and faster. But the first time, it's not easy. Okay, let's put it that way. So there you go. No problem. So what I have to do after that, we're gonna have to remove this tape over here, put in fresh double tape. Okay. But that will be at the end of the job. So next step, so as you can see, the camera is nice and clean, no problem. The next step will be to remove the LCD. Okay, so how do you do that? First of all, I'm gonna try to clean up a bit of the dust that's on the screen, because behind the LCD there is light filters, and you don't want the dust to go settle, and I'll explain that later on. So yeah, so the main reason why we unplugged the battery was because once you reach here with the spatula, you don't want to short this circuit. If the battery is plugged in, immediately you will kill this circuit, and then there will be no camera. Okay? So that's the main reason why. Okay, now the next step, how to remove the LCD. Okay, first of all, you gotta remove those screws over here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The one on the at the ends are slightly bigger. This one and this one are bigger than those 3. Okay. So just remember that. 1, 2. Okay. Okay, so now there is 2 more screws that we need to remove, but before we do that, there is this piece of tape over here. Okay, we need to cut it a little bit here, otherwise that's what held the cable for the backlight and behind it. So we're going to cut it a little bit. We need something sharp, so I usually use this thing over here. So be gentle, but you need to cut this. There you go. Done. Now I can remove the 2 screws. 1 and 2. Okay, now what we need to do gently is to remove the backlight cable and the LCD cable, which is right here. So pull this towards you a little bit gently. There is a clip, okay, and then there you go, and the LCD cable. Okay. This is really the hardest part. Okay, now I should warn you. See, I didn't remove this properly. If you do cut this cable by accident, the backlight cable, you're done. You need a full top assembly. Replacing the LCD alone is no longer an option. You need to buy a full top assembly. Okay, so be very careful of that. If you do damage The LCD cable, that's fine, you can just replace the cable itself, okay? It's not that difficult to replace. Once you remove the LCD, you can always run a new LCD cable. But be extremely careful with the backlight cable. If you damage that one, you're done, okay? So that's those are the two cables. Now what we need to do, we need to remove the actual LCD. So for that, we're gonna need some heat, okay? So heat gun, okay? Very careful, don't heat it up too much. I usually use 160 Fahrenheit, okay? And don't put too much air. Don't let the air go too powerful, okay? If your heat gun is adjustable, okay, put it on low, okay? The reason behind is because the double tape is only running on the edges, okay? You don't want to heat up too much because, as I said, there is backlight filters in behind the LCD, and if they get too much heat, they're gonna shrink, and then it will look terrible, okay? So we don't want that. So let's go and remove the LCD. So heat it up gently, like that on the edges. See? Once you reach the corner there, you can use a guitar thing there. Just be very gentle. There you go. Just so you can go like this. If it becomes hard, just hit it up a little more. Okay. Oops, there's a crack here. So this part is going to be harder. So what I do in this case is I try to heat it up as much as I can without burning the backlight filter, and eventually it comes out. If not, I will go and start from the other side. But let's see if we can actually manage to get it going. There you go, it's moving, so that's good. Okay. Okay, now again on the edges, I try to be very gentle so I don't crack the corner. As you can see, so far so good. So if there is no crack in this side, anywhere here, like I can see the crack here. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but the crack is right here, so there is no crack here. If I am careful enough, and if I hit up just enough this side, I should be able to lift it without any problem. Okay. Perfect removal so far. This double tape is pretty strong. It's a pretty strong double tape, so take your time. Okay, very good. Okay, now we have to be very gentle with those filters over here. Those are the backlight filters. Anything that touches it, especially liquid, will stain. Okay, and then you need to replace them. Otherwise, it looks pretty bad when you replace the screen. So try to be as gentle as possible. Okay. And if you scratch it by accident, it will show after, once you put the new screen, it will show there is a scratch. So those are extremely, you have to be very gentle with these. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now, what I like to do is that I like to put some little bit of double tape, okay, on each corner over here before I start moving any further. And again, let's just be careful, try not to touch as much as possible the backlight filters there. Okay, so there you go. Put some over here too. Just a little bit on the edge. There you go, to secure the sheet. And one more here. It's aligned properly. There you go. Okay, so now what we need to do next is remove the old double tape. Always remove it, even if it looks still clean. The reason why, if there is a small tiny broken glass left in there, and then you put in the new one, as soon as you put pressure on it, well, guess what, it's gonna crack. Okay, so make sure it's very clean, that area is all nice and clean before you put in the new LCD. See, there you go, there's a little bit of glass here, so if we can remove it, I'm going to use this tiny spatula over here. Okay, came out fairly easily. I'm gonna put a little bit more double tape at the corner there, so it doesn't move. Okay, so this part is pretty much done for now. We just need to put the fresh double tape. Because once we want to seal the new LCD, okay. So you might need different sizes of double tapes depending on, like in this area, it's very small. So this is a 2mm double tape. You cannot put anything bigger there. On this side over here, slightly bigger, larger, so we can put a little bit more bigger tape. Here you go. Okay, so this is ready to accept the new LCD, so I'm gonna put this aside. I'm gonna show what we need to do next. Okay, now from the old LCD that we removed, we need this part over here. Okay, that goes sit on top of the, you know, where all the backlights are. Without it, it looks terrible. So we need that old part. So how do you remove that? It's fairly easy. Again, in these cases we need the gloves, the glass, and then that's pretty much it. And we need to make it easy, a little bit of alcohol if you have it. That makes your life much easier. So just put some alcohol there and then just run through it gently. There you go. Now, if there is a broken glass, which there is in this case, okay, so flip it over. Okay, so there's some broken glass here, so we're gonna remove it gently. So first of all, I'm gonna remove the double tape here. And if we get lucky, the glass might come out at the same time. If not, we'll remove it using the spatula. Okay. Okay. And again, make sure you really gotta make sure it's nice and clean. There is no glass left, simply because you don't want to crack the new LCD. They're fairly expensive, and there's no returning back if you crack it. So you gotta make sure, take your time, make sure everything is nice and clean. Okay.
It's 11 o'clock.
There you go. So now we're gonna put some double tape again. In this case I use just one. There you go. Okay. Now we need to put this back on the MacBook. Right here, where it belongs. Okay, now here, I see a piece of hair. Make sure there is no dust or no hair or any, because they show through the backlight, it shows. Okay. When you turn it on, I mean, when you turn the computer, it shows. Okay, let me show you something if I can, so you'll understand why it's very important not to forget this part. Okay, look what happened if I turn on the MacBook. Actually, I need to put in the LCD first. So basically there will be lights all over here, okay? It looks really bad. And sometimes people do forget to put them and then it's too late to put it back. So just make sure you don't forget that part. Okay, so to put it back, it's fairly easy, straightforward. There is only a few screws. Cannot go wrong. So the big ones on the edges. Okay, I won't screw them all the way in until I adjust the bar there, until I adjust it a little bit, and then I'll screw them all the way in. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, if you see a little bit, if you see some dust, just try to remove it, because as I said, if you do not, once you turn on the computer, you see the dust coming through on the LCD. Okay, so if you go like this gently with your finger, it comes out. Okay, there you go, pretty clean. Okay, next step is to test the new LCD. Okay, so we need some tape to keep it in place while we test it. Okay, I'm just cutting some tape now. You'll see it in a second on the screen. Okay, so brand new LCD. Okay, this is how it looks like. Okay, it's very, very thin. Okay, it's very, very fragile. Okay, so you get only one shot at it. So put it gently, like this. Okay, adjust it a little bit if you have to. Then just force it. Just put some temporary tape. Okay, make sure you see what I'm doing here. Put some temporary tape. So there you go. Okay, so what we need to do next is that we need to put back the backlight cable. That's the hardest part. Okay, the backlight cable and the LCD cable in here. So the way I do it, okay, I'll open up the clip here. I start with the backlight cable, and now I've done so many, I'm kind of used to it, but the first time it was extremely hard. I even actually cracked one LCD at the beginning. Okay, so just be gentle, that's all. I did that by putting pressure with my finger, baby finger, against the LCD. I didn't realize I was putting so much pressure, and I cracked it. So that was a long time ago, but just I don't want you to do the same thing. So gently push back the LCD, the backlight cable. When this is done, the easiest way to put back the LCD, this is how I do it. I just put the clip, the LCD inside where it belongs, and I push with my finger, and usually it comes out fairly easily. So, but I need to get a bit closer to see what I'm doing. See, like that, and then I put the clip back. Click. Okay, so just be gentle, push it slightly gently like that, and then put the other two screws. and that should do it, hopefully. We'll test it, make sure there's nothing wrong with the LCD, because once we remove the double tape, it's done. You can no longer take it out. So we're gonna test it first, and if all goes well, it should be good. Okay, so here you go. With the backlight, and there you go. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, not sure the guest user is open. No, okay, so no big deal. Let's try the other one. Still there is a password. Okay, so it's all good. There is no lines, there is no bleeding, so the LCD is pretty good. So now we can go ahead and close the job. Okay, so shut down. Gotta remove the power cord. Okay, so this is what we will need to do next. Okay, this is exactly what needs to be done next. And again, we have to be very gentle. Okay, so I'm gonna remove those two tapes over here. Make sure you see. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna remove that one. I'm going to lean the LCD towards me, towards the LCD, gently, just very gently. Okay, very gently, like this. Put it down gently. Why? Because you don't want to damage those cables over here. And if that happens, well, then it's done. So I'm gonna remove the double tape, remove the top here, do the same here, do it in that order, okay, so you don't forget anything. Okay, there you go. Okay, one last one. Okay. Okay, now next thing is that tilt it a little bit, see if you see any possible dust. It shouldn't be that much. Okay. Okay, it's pretty clean. So now what we want to do next is want to remove the protecting sheet over here that's on the LCD. Again, you have to be extremely gentle. Okay. Be careful not to don't forget to do that, because it's very easy to forget to remove the sheet. Okay, the protective sheet over here. So just be careful. Okay, once it's done, okay, you're gonna put it very gently. That's your last chance. If you see any dust, okay, it's all clean. Put it gently. Okay, gently like this, and then that's it. Push a little bit. Okay, that's it. No, it's not coming back. It's done. Okay, now one more thing you need to do is to remove the second protective sheet over here. There is two, one on each side, because once we put back the silver thing over here, it actually lays on top of the edges here, and you won't be able to remove the protective sheet. So remove it first. There you go. There you go. Always gentle. Take your time. There you go, done. Okay, now the last part of the job, which is straightforward and fairly easy, is to put to clean up the tapes from here. Okay. and then we should be good. We'll put it back. So let's clean that up. Okay, the most important ones are the edges ones, okay, it needs to come out. The other ones, you don't really necessarily, if they're clean and there is no, you know, bump in them or something, you can put the tape on top of it. But the edges one needs to come out. Okay, go. There you go. So now, if you see anything that's not, you know, nice and flat, well, just remove it. Okay. At first I would remove all the tapes, but it's really not necessary. Actually, it would be helpful if you leave the other one, this one, or just on the edges, because so sticky will help with the new double tape on top of it. But again, you gotta make sure there's no areas like this area over here needs to come out because it's not really flat. But if you have the time, and I mean, you know, if it's your first time, just remove all of it. Okay, I know exactly what I need to do, but if this is your first time, just, you know, just remove completely everything. I mean, all the tapes, I mean. Okay, pretty cool. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put the tape. Okay, so where am I putting my tape? Tape, double tape. Okay, so let's go and try to keep the tape where there was tape. Like, for example, there is no tape over here, don't put tape, okay? Try to avoid those. Unless like in between, example here, you see there was never any tape. There is tape here, there's tape here. So try not to put tape where there was no tape. Like this black area over here covers the, you know, the camera. So, and also one important thing is that if this is your first time, when you test the LCD, just to make sure it's working like I did earlier, also test the camera. Okay, in my case I know because I can tell there is no scratch on the camera, so the camera will be fine. But you should test the camera before you seal the LCD, or before you put this back. Okay, you should test the camera. I mean, you know, to remove this, it's not really that difficult once you know you because it's no longer the original double tape. So worst case scenario, you can always remove it, but it's a good idea to test the camera first. Okay. Okay. Almost done. replace the one that was here, a bit thinner tape. Okay, good. Okay, so now let's do it properly and let's test the camera. Before we seal this, I'm gonna use my external hard drive because I don't have the password of the client. And if it goes well, we'll put back the silver cover and we're done. Okay, here you go. Let's plug in the external hard drive. Okay, so let's plug it in. See how nice and clean it is. There's no scratch or anything like that on the back filter. So that's what I'm saying, just be very careful not to touch the filters with your finger, or especially oily or anything like that. Any liquid attached to those filters, they stain, any scratch, any dust. So that's why you have to take your time before you actually seal the LCD. Make sure there is nothing, you know, that looks the way it shouldn't be looking. Okay. Good. Okay, so let's test the camera. Okay, let's take a look at the specs of this machine. Okay, so it's mid 2012. Okay, and again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the same procedure for MacBook Air from 2010, 2011, 12 up to 2013, as long as it's the same model, A1466, it's the exact same procedure as I just did. Okay, so yeah, the camera is working. You still have to test it properly, because sometimes, even though the camera is working, there is no volume or there is no microphone. So always a test, always a test. Hi, testing camera, make sure everything is good. Testing camera. Okay, let's try the recording. Testing camera, make sure everything is good. Testing camera. Okay, so the camera is good. So now we can go ahead and put back the silver cover here, and then we're gonna put the battery back, and the job is done. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'll show you how to put the thing back, and then straightforward. Okay, computer is off. Good. So move the battery, the MagSafe, the charger. So, how do we put that thing back? It's very, very easy. Unless there is a, you know, sometimes there is a band in the corners, and that could be a bit of an issue. But still, if you jiggle it a little bit, you play with it a little bit, it fits perfectly. So, what I gotta do first is remove the double tape on it. So we're gonna remove the double tape, make sure it's all nice and flat, with your finger like that. Yeah, no bump, nothing. Looks perfect. Okay, good. So now remove this double tape. Okay, all the double tapes are removed. Double check. Oh, see, I almost forgot one here. Always double check. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, all good. So let's put this back here. Okay, and all we have to do is just align it a little bit. Okay, there's a little bit of plastic here. Just gonna remove it. Over here, when we removed it, see? There you go. So now, then once it's all good, just put some pressure on it. Not too much, obviously, but enough for the double tape to kick in and hold, and that's it. There you go, brand new. So last part is to put back the battery, and then we can close the job. Okay, so remove the back cover, plug the battery in, put it back. There you go. Let's turn it on. I don't think the battery is charged. Well, this is the exact same thing for our MacBook Air 2010 to 2017, as long as it's model A1466. And if you have any question, if you want to send yours over to have it fixed, well, they're welcome. Just go back online, undoit.ca. Remember, if you did it, we can undo it. Undoit.ca, and we specialize in MacBook repairs. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Bye.